Hi, welcome back to Coffee with Kim. I'm so excited to have you all here live. This is going to be, we've been doing these for, gosh, what, 6 months plus of these series, these week-long series. And this one is one that I have been really looking forward to. So November is usually our gratitude month and everything, but you know, as I'm out networking and I'm talking to people, I'm talking to guests, and one of the things that really has resonated recently is being people being stuck and wanting to take action, not knowing how to take action. So I thought this week would be a great week to bring some really big powerhouse people coming in and hopefully inspire you and get you to take action in your life.
Welcome back to Coffee with Kim. We are on day one of our series, Courage to Take Action in Your Life. Today, coming from California, is Lisa Kirkwood. Lisa was born and raised in Romania during the time of communism and experienced firsthand the overthrow of that regime. This opened up a new world of learning that included books, movies, and entertainment. To this day is still very much part of her life. In addition, she was empowered to learn 10 languages while traveling the world, finally settling in the United States. As a speaker, author, entrepreneur, and diversity and inclusion expert came numerous opportunities and awards over her 30-year experience and background. Taking her life experience and dreams, Lisa created a book and movie script called The Taran Chronicles. As a self-proclaimed modern Renaissance woman, Lisa's creed is to live limitless. Join me in welcoming Lisa to Coffee with Kim.
Hello, hello, Lisa, welcome.
Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone, I'm shaky a little bit because I'm so excited because, I've seen Lisa off and on the past year in different groups and things that I've been in, and she reached out to me. And when I got the plethora of information about this woman, you will get just the tip of the iceberg of getting to know her today. And the accolades and everything else that she's done in her life. I'll let her speak as we always do, but we're going to get into a conversation. And I'm just going to, fair warning, we might go a little bit over the 30-minute mark.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me, Kim. It's a pleasure. A few things about myself. I would call my own person a jack of all trades or many trades and master of some, or you can say Jill of all trades or many trades. Right now, I'm focusing on speaking business, online and offline in different stages, and on filmmaking. And I think I put the filmmaking on autopilot already because I did release my first short film on YouTube, Odyssey of the Space-Time Travelers, about a month ago. And I'm working on a series of about 10 short films currently. While I am building my speaking business, I have an interview this week, as a matter of fact, with a summit organizer for an event that's happening in January. I was also offered a position of a show host on an international women's network. My show is going to start this Saturday, and it's called The Power Zone. You've Got the Power. So this is for primarily for women's audience, but anyone is welcome to tune in. So in a nutshell, this is what I've been up to lately.
Yay! That is so exciting. And it's so fun for me to put these promo reels together because it's like I have to take all of this experience and condense it down into one little thing. But really, with the title of the show today, the American Dream, I kind of want to start there today, Lisa, because really, the times that we live in, I don't sometimes, I don't want to get political because that's not who I am. That's not what I want to do here. But, we don't always appreciate, I think, what we have here in America. And looking at everything that you have done, you have definitely taken advantage of all of that. Can we talk a little bit about that experience? Because, I'm a mom of six, and you said that most of your big part of your development came before the age of 7. And I've read, in the different parenting magazines that, a lot of who you are and what you become happens at the by the age of 7. And you kind of confirmed that, and that's really what stood out to me when I first started reading through your material. Um, your grandmother had a big impact on your life. And what is 3 things that you can say that you took from that early stages of your life?
If I took anything, that would have been, how do I say, crystallized later, because at that age, of course, I was too young to realize what was going on. But I definitely had the blessing of a happy childhood, and grandma was a central figure. One of the things that I do remember about her, she was a woman with a really strong personality. That whole culture I grew up in. You may think, or you may talk to women coming from other parts of the world where they had to find their voice as women because society is male centered. Where I come from, it was very much woman centered. So it came naturally that I would be in charge of things, that I would be bossy, that I would know my foot, and altogether just keep the work ethics, keep your wits about yourself and common sense, because it's the karmic law. What goes around comes around. Back in the days, of course, I didn't know what karma was, but to segue into what you were saying, it was a period of personality refining, if you would, because I find myself going back to those values that were instilled in me indirectly. Again, I was too young to realize, but then throughout the years, I realized that this is when I got my storytelling gift. Grandma would read us stories at bedtime to me and my cousin. This is where I got my, not necessarily my way or the highway, but rather I am a force to reckon with, and you better reckon that for your own good. And also, I can do whatever I want. Not
Wow.
that how do I say, I'm gonna go harm myself or that other people, but I am independent, I am strong, and I have the courage to own my life. And this is the culture I grew up in, because not only my grandma was that way, my aunt, my mom's sister, my mom herself, myself, we inherited this entrepreneurial spirit, this independence, this self-sufficiency and self-reliance.
Wow. You know, you have that strength, you have that, the reckon with, but I think you're probably the only person I've ever met that has learned 10 languages in my lifetime. And so I would actually say that you're also teachable, right? Because look at all the things that you have learned, experienced, dreamed, and accomplished. So, I kind of wanted to take us back to that space. And I love that you said what goes around comes around. That is the phrase that my father taught me. And, that's something, and I too live by that. Um, so you've got the languages. How did that come about? Why 10?
A lot of it was due to the culture I was in, because as soon as communism fell in 1989, the 90s was a period of great changes throughout all Europe, especially as Eastern Europe, as the Iron Curtain fell. And all the Western culture that had been denied to us before, including a lot of foreign languages, we were importing foreign culture left and right. It was such a thirst for that forbidden knowledge, if you would. And starting with language, culture, literature, movies, music, we were listening to foreign music back in the 90s, Tina Turner and Michael Jackson and Sesame Street. We got that going on Romanian television. And I started building on it. And not only that, but the culture that is very permissive, and we love anything foreign, anything different, anything exotic. If you want to see diversity accepted at its largest, widest, that will be Romania and the environment I grew up in. Because if you are different from the majority, from the locals, you are instantly cool. Whatever it is that you're different by your language, your skin color, your religion, your whatever, you are welcome to be who you are. That's the kind of culture I grew up in. The Romanian language itself, it's very flexible. because we have part of Latin vocabulary, most of it. We have Greek, we have Slavic vocabulary, and that automatically enables or empowers us to pick up easily on other languages. It is also a European trend to study or learn on your own, because Europe is like fragmented. It's not this big conglomerate like in the States with just one unified language. Not too many kilometers away from whatever you're at, there's already a different language and a different culture. And even right there in your community, you may have a Hungarian minority or a Turkish minority or a German minority, and you play with the kids and you go to their homes and you learn the language. And then in school, it's only building on it. I remember the humanistic disciplines that I decided to pursue. We had 2 foreign languages mandatory to learn, and then a third one was optional in college. So just the more the merrier, bring them on. And yeah, to your point earlier, I speak fluently 5 languages, but I know other 5 at the basic/intermediate level, depending on which language it is. This has enabled me to approach the cultures, and understand the national specifics of different countries. And this is why I love so much diversity, and it's so much part of myself. I can't imagine how life would be without this. It's who I am. The languages, the cultures, the different nationalities, instant likability. You're exotic, you're different. I like it.
And for me growing up, that just kind of was a part of who I was too. Everything you speak is exactly on point with myself. That's why I'm getting so into this discussion, because I love learning other cultures and people and their stories, and why they do what they do. And it sounds that you and I really have a lot in common, on many different levels. And the I want to, you've talked about the diversity and inclusion. So, in the business area here in Las Vegas, I'm a woman-owned business here. And so one of the things that I have been involved in is different groups, is that diversity inclusion. And really starting to learn it, but you seem to have a much broader and a more expansive. Is that a lot of what your speaking engagements are around? Is that correct?
Many of them, yes, but now I find myself reshaping somehow the message, because diversity and inclusion is a trendy topic, but it's also going hand in hand with women's empowerment. So when I'm going to do this show, when I'll be hosting this show on the International Women's Network, it's going to be centered on women's empowerment from different perspectives, including diversity and inclusion, if you would. So I would say it's tapping into the energy of things and people. And yes, that includes different aspects of an individual personality.
Wow. I just want to take a few moments. We had a comment that came in just as we were going on, but I wanted to get into here really quick. Don Hobley says hi. So I think he's someone that we both know, and he's definitely someone that I hope one day to have on this show. But so you have that. I'm so excited for a talk show. You are going to love it. I know how much I love it, and my background and the things that I do outside this show are around women empowerment. And I'm really excited, to watch your show and to see. And I would encourage everyone else, to watch that as well. So do you want to get into the books and things yet, or is there anything else you wanted to mention so far? Because we've kind of been all over the place, but I think we're kind of been going in a little bit of an order.
I guess sometimes you go with the flow. Truth is, given the many things that I've been doing at the same time, I don't think there's a right or wrong. We're, take things as they come. As far as the book itself, I published the sci-fi series back in 2017 on Amazon. And that was just the first big brick in the wall, because I plan to put together a very solid investment proposition for movie financiers, starting with the intellectual property that was published on Amazon, Then I did, see if I can stand up for a second. I did the merchandise that comes with it. It's for the Taran Chronicles, a Voyager in Chronospace. And this t-shirt says, keep calm and travel through space-time.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So where did okay, so I don't want to, we kind of jumped into it. What led up to that? I know we talked about, when you were growing up, the influx of TV and movies and the entertainment industry, but you have accolades in writers groups. I mean, you are definitely a proficient writer. um, did you jump right into this? Did you do writing before that? What led up to this that you're like, okay, I'm going to write?
Yes, it came with the storytelling. I am so in love with storytelling, especially the fantasy genre, and that goes way back into my childhood, as I mentioned. And I was lucky enough in grade school to have a teacher who was absolutely adamant about creative writing. People I hear in different education system, they struggle with that high school level, even college level. I had a really early start. I started in grade school, and looking back, it's not something I want to brag about, but my compositions were the best in class. And there's a
Wow.
reason, because I was reading like there was no tomorrow. All these books that I was, absorbing, they, of course, they left an imprint on my mind. And then I started writing myself. And with the sci-fi and the border sciences and the aliens, that also goes back in the 90s when we were importing foreign culture. And again, something that was forbidden before, such as parallel dimensions and aliens and UFOs and all the cool stuff coming from the West. I was like, wow, I need to research this more and read book after book after book after book, and then rinse and repeat, because to learn Hollywood, to be able to actually put this into a movie package for financing, I had to repeat the process and read about Hollywood, how the inner workings of a movie project are, starting from the set decorators and the extras and the makeup and the costumes and everything. I put that together. And now the latest
Wow.
is my own short film, the one that's been released on YouTube. So I have the IP, I have the merchandise. Another thing, this is a cup that says a Voyager in Chronospace. It has the UFOs and all the good stuff on it.
Uh-huh.
So the whole package, IP with merchandise and short films and the audience, the sci-fi audience, this is going to go into a movie financing proposition.
That is so exciting. So is it one book? Is it a series of books?
The one that's on Amazon is the first part of the series. A Voyager in Chronospace is the first part of the Taran Chronicles, but I have three more in the same series, and then I have other series also sci-fi themed. So it's a long run. It's like a 12-part series altogether.
So, I mean, I don't think I've ever admitted it here, but I grew up watching Star Trek. Lost in Space, all of those. I'm kind of a sci-fi geek. I mean, my kids, I mean, Star Wars, you name it. I love all of that. So, if you were to is what would it be? Is it kind of a mixture of all those? What is this about?
Good question. It is actually, I would say, a mixture. When you pitch a project to Hollywood, you would say, so and so meets so and so. This movie has common elements with that movie. So I would say it's similar to Dune, Stargate, and Star Trek. But at the same time, it has the success elements of these established franchises. But I came up with something with material that is completely new and original, and actually that's one of my beefs, because they haven't been coming up with new material in forever. It's a risky business in Hollywood. They much rather play it safe with things that are already on the market. But we are at the point where Hollywood is registering massive losses because of alternate entertainment. People would rather turn to video games or Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, which offer original content, not the same old characters, rehashed stories. So that's where I come in. I'm like, okay, we have the success element, we have the sci-fi things, but let's bring someone new, a new story, new perspective. And one thing that I clearly stay away from is a dystopian future. We're all gonna be doomed. We're gonna, oh my God, we're in trouble. No, my work is going to be all about a bright future. We are empowered. We have conquered peacefully the universe. We have, we are members of the Galactic Council, and all together we're doing things very well on this planet. Sometime in the near future, hopefully.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You really have taken your, just from what you described, I'm thinking about all the things that you did with growing up, but then I look at the part where you have, you were corporate America, you were in the banking industry,
Mm-hmm.
and um, you know, if you were to talk to somebody, and I see that you've done consulting, you've done different things like that, and you're going to be talking to women empowerment. Um, I want to take a few minutes. I know a lot of this comes inside of us, right? You could have chosen to be shut down, right? Through different parts of your life. You could have had the things, your environment, whatever, coming down onto you. What do you tell women? When you're speaking to them, how do you empower them? What do you tell them? There's a difference, in my opinion, with the rah rah speech, but to give them something concrete. What are some things that you speak on that you can inspire women here listening to this today?
Okay, the theme itself of women's empowerment is so broad, and nowadays we have a number of coaches and consultants and trainers that are dealing with almost exclusively with women's empowerment. The cool part about it, there are a number of men who specialized on empowering women, and I tip my hat to these guys. So when it comes to overcoming challenges, the biggest one in my case was to basically take myself from Eastern Europe and bring myself over to America. And that was a process. I was fortunate enough to make a connection with a church that was planted in my hometown in Craiova in Romania, and that's how I met missionaries, and I was able to come here to the States. And that was I would say the biggest stepping stone so far. When
Wow.
you think, yes, that would be when you dream of something. Say you're in point A, but you want to be in point Z, okay, from A to Z. Please realize that is not an overnight thing. It's not a sudden success, and you cannot get from A to Z immediately, because even if you do, you won't know what to do at that point. There are so many intermediary steps. My biggest piece of advice would be to take it slowly, one day at a time, one accomplishment at a time, and celebrate each small victory on the way up. Because you build yourself up, you cannot possibly start from the very bottom and get to the very top again suddenly. Because take for instance people who became lottery winners. They had no money culture, no training, no mindset from before they became rich, and by the time a few years later, fast forward, they were more miserable, and even if poorer than before. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you get yourself the training, the mindset, the encouragement that you need. And sometimes you won't be able to get that, the whole resource of strength from within yourself. So you
Mhm.
have to find some sort of support group, or a coach, or a mentor, or any sort of friend, a friend or friends with a similar mindset that would uplift you. And that's a very important thing. Realize and identify early on what are the things and the people that hold you back, that are toxic, that you need to get away from. So you move away from the old, the one that's dragging you down and holding you down, and you're moving towards the new, towards the dream life that you have been envisioning for yourself.
Wow. I look, like you said, the biggest piece was going from one country and culture to another. And I have a friend who's got, her husband's, in Europe, they took the family to Europe, and, doing the reverse, and just for a few years for his job. And I see, the challenges that they incur, and, learning the ways of the laws, all the different things. And so what you have done and the way you've done it, I think is so remarkable and so inspiring. Not only to me, but I'm hoping others that are watching this, see the same thing, that, gosh, if she can pick up and do what she's done, then maybe I can, as well. And I love how you talked about, it's a process, right? I think in society, and you tell me, what your thoughts are. We want to get there so fast, right?
Yeah, instant
And
gratification, but a lot of times it just doesn't go that way. You have to go at a snail pace, because many times slow and steady wins the race. Is a marathon, not a sprint.
yeah, yeah. So you said, you wanted to make sure that in this thing was the American dream. What is the American dream to you?
Oh, the movies. They were oh gosh, it goes way back. When I was 13 years old, we had a real estate change. We moved from the periphery of Craiova to downtown. It's one of the big cities, 300,000 plus people. And I was within a walking distance from a movie theater, and the whole American culture import would not be complete without Hollywood and the movies. And it was the 90s and the martial arts movies and Jean-Claude Van Damme. To this day, he's still popular in the rest of the world. So I watched those movies. Oh, and Chuck Norris. Oh my God. He's my number one teddy bear, Chuck Norris. So I watched those movies and I'm like, this is what I want to do with my life. But the question is, how am I going to do it? I was only 13 years old.
Right.
And if you think about it, 13 years is not much, because when I was exactly 26, I was able to immigrate to America. So after 13 years of dreaming and planning, and how is that even possible? 2004, I made landfall here in the US, in Midwest. And then in 2018, I moved to California to pursue the American dream of making movies. And I think I'm well on that path.
Wow. Wow. Do you think if you had stayed in Romania, you would get to do what you were going to do?
Absolutely not. No. And it had to do not so much with my personal environment and the family, but also the economy and the possibilities. When you say America is the land of all possibilities, they said that for a reason, or a list of reasons. Things that you can do here, you can't necessarily do in other parts of the world, and definitely not at the time when I was planning to leave, and even at the time when I left. Because now you can, for instance, host a show and do trainings and do a lot of stuff on the computer, even there and in other parts of the world. But there's something about the spirit of the place, the things that you can only feel here, experience here, and do here. When I came to the States in 2005, I took a trip to South Dakota, to the Black Hills
Mm-hmm.
President's Monument. And at
Mm-hmm.
some point, I remember sitting in the car driving on. You only see the sky, the road, and the prairie as wide as the eye can see. And that's the freedom of the place, the spirit of the place, such a wide space. And you hear your thoughts and you reinvent yourself, and you're just going further and further, one step further and one more step on the ladder. The spirit of the place, things that you, like you said earlier, you may take for granted. But for a first generation immigrant like myself, who came here with the big American dream in mind, not only dreaming, but living, breathing, eating, sleeping the dream, I'm pursuing it relentlessly, not take anything
Oh,
for granted.
you don't. And that's what I think is so beautiful, and why I'm so grateful for you to come on, kicking this week off, because everything I have seen from you could have been a stumbling block, could have been, and you probably had stumbling blocks along the way, but you
Sure.
just said, I'm either going to, move it out, or I'm going to move over it, around it, or under it, to be able to do that. And it's that unrelentless, that unstoppable, right, feeling, or taking action. And you said, like you said, you just took maybe a little step, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it is just that little step every day. If you take a little step every day, you get a lot further. And so I think you have just been an amazing example, um, of that. You are a great reminder to me that we should, help our children to dream, right? Dream as little children of what you want to do, what you want to be, and allow that to take hold and to be able to nurture that. And like you said, you can't not always can do it alone.
Definitely. And one thing that I find was the most challenging was my own mindset. I had to get out of my own way. They say the law of attraction manifests when you let go of things. And oh my God, is that true? Because I educated myself. I'm like, okay, I want to make movies, but nobody in my family has ever even dreamed of making movies, let alone try to actually make them. So how do I make movies? I learn how to make movies. I read all these Hollywood books. I read about 60 plus books on how to make movies, from choosing costumes for the cast, to doing makeup, to doing lights and sound and everything. Not that I can recite those by heart, but I know the moment I step on a movie set that at least I know what the heck is going on there. Plus, that was before I released my first short film. Now I have hands-on experience. When you put together even a small crew, you need a narrator, you need a good videographer, director of photography, and I was able to, just build for myself credits as a writer, director, producer. So it's a process again, and that was my biggest challenge. The fact that I wanted to control things, why things don't happen now, they don't happen on my terms, they don't happen the way I envisioned them necessarily. The moment I let go, I'm like, okay, I don't care. I put enough effort into this. If it's not meant to be, it's not going to happen. Guess what? That's when it happens. It's weird, but this is what they say is the law of attraction.
Oh, wow, Lisa, I for one needed to hear this today, and I am so appreciative of you. And I think that's a really great place to end on. Other than I want to make sure everybody knows how to get a hold of you. I mean, that's one of the purposes of this show is for you to come on and be celebrated and share what you've done. And but I want people to, if they are like, I want to talk to Lisa, I want to have that, knowledge or, and connect with her. So this is your email,
Mm-hmm.
Lisa
Yeah,
dot kirkwood7@gmail.com. She's
correct.
given me a lot of information here, guys. So you might have to rewind and pause to get some of this information because there's a lot of it here. So the next one we're going to show here is, what is this? A Facebook group, the Star Voyager.
Yes, there's a Facebook group for the fans of Planet Earth, sci-fi, space-time traveling aliens and UFOs, and there's also the one that says Red Bubble. It's for the merchandise that comes with the movie, because this is how I build brand awareness for this project.
Oh, I love
And there's
that.
also the I think there's a link for the YouTube short film, the video that's there, Odyssey of the Space-Time Travelers, my first movie credit. So
Okay, did
here's
that?
the cool part about the merchandise with this project. With this advent of merchandise on demand, you don't have to stock up on merch. You can just type in a Voyager in Chronospace shopping, and Google will pull up all the stores.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, you and I will need to talk about that afterwards.
Absolutely, and this is the movie link on YouTube. The
Okay,
one that's
awesome.
just now, for sure.
I'm starting to get, it's kind of not liking all of this. There we go. So we're going to take these up. I don't want to, let's see.
And if we have comments in the comment section, or people want to ask questions,
Yes,
I'm
please.
open.
That's one of the great things I love about what we do here. Is you can ask your questions. Please do. We have several people watching, and please ask the questions. You might want to need to go to the top and link. Let's see. I'm going to stop this. Hide. There we go. If I have too many of these going, my video starts to slow down. So I want to make sure. But thank you, everyone who has tuned in. Let me see, double check. Sometimes the comments come after, and we'll make sure that Lisa is a part of all those groups and the YouTubes. And also, please subscribe to Coffee with Kim Live on YouTube, because that allows our guests, if you subscribe, it allows the guests to have more visibility on the platform of YouTube. So I would really, really appreciate everyone doing that. It does not look like we have any other comments, but if you see or watching this afterwards, please comment. Lisa and I will definitely go in and watch those and take a look at those. Is there anything else in closing, Lisa, that you wanted to mention, talk about, or see? Yeah.
Did you have any other questions, Kim? If we don't have in the comments, did you have something else you want to touch on?
No, I think you did. I wanted to make sure people got to see at least the pieces of you that I have gotten to have the insight to see the 30 years of amazing experience and knowledge. You have given so much in your speaking engagements and at other podcasts and empowering women. You now, as a result of that, look, you were asked to be on, have your own show now in empowering women, which is very dear to my heart as well. So thank you for so much for coming on. And you inspired me. And I know as people go back and watch this, those that will see it later definitely will be inspired as well.
Thank you for having me. And just to wrap it up, for people who want to connect with myself, there are different ways. For speaking engagements or just good old-fashioned let's have a chat over Zoom, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Lisa E. Kirkwood. I connect with just about anyone on LinkedIn. For the science fiction fans, feel free to join the group on Facebook, The Star Voyager, or again, just message me or email the information at the email address that Kim provided. And for the movie itself, if you are already a movie buff on an upcoming Power franchise, again, if you go into Google and type a Voyager in Chronospace shopping, that will get you to the online stores that already show the merchandise. The cool part about, like I said, merchandise in demand is available globally. You can purchase it anywhere. It goes on in about 180 countries, which covers the whole globe. This company, Redbubble, and the stores that actually host my merchandise, they ship and they print on demand and ship throughout the world. That was the most mind-blowing. Recently, I made sales in Europe, somebody in Germany, somebody in UK. They either have their own print on demand manufacturers right there in that region, or even if they ship from another country, it happens within like 24 hours. So this is global. And I didn't have to do much other than just subscribe to their platform, to Redbubble, and upload my designs, and here and there on Facebook and other venues such as this, just talk about the project, and people will know and they can connect with the movie project before it becomes a Hollywood blockbuster.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. And please, I've had the LinkedIn came up there. We put all the links up there. So if you need a rewind, definitely go ahead and do that. But Lisa, again, I want to say thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. Looking forward to talking again.
You too. All right, everyone. This is a wrap for our first day of our series. Tomorrow, just be sure to tune in every day this week. If you got a lot out of Lisa, which I know you did, the others will be just as powerful. If you know someone that wants to take action, or they are talked about taking action, have them watch this, see if there's someone they can connect with, and take action in your life. We'll see you tomorrow.